Imagine yourself seated in a cozy room, with rain pattering steadily upon the roof outside, creating a gentle rhythm akin to the universe's soft whispers, as we embark together upon an exploration of a profound mystery concerning the world around us. It is the tale of how scientists at the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and elsewhere are gradually coming to recognize that humankind may never have truly originated anything novel in an independent manner. Instead, all the grand inventions, from the simplest mathematical formulae to the intricate algorithms underpinning artificial intelligence, and even the biological evolution we observe across myriad species, appear to be quietly replicating solutions that already exist within an invisible realm, a concealed dimension that remains beyond our grasp. This notion might seem daunting, does it not? It renders us feeling diminutive, yet simultaneously brimming with optimism, for it intimates that we are linked to something vastly greater than ourselves, as though our minds form part of an immense cosmic flow, where every idea awaits discovery in readiness. As we delve deeper, the narrative grows ever more peculiar. Consider the scientists at the University of Vermont and Tufts University, who have devoted years in laboratories illuminated by fluorescent lights, amidst test tubes brimming with frog cells, where the air carries a faint scent of chemicals and the hum of computers serves as a constant reminder of human perseverance. They have engineered an artificial organism known as the Xenobot, something resembling a minuscule ball fashioned from frog skin cells, yet not an ordinary frog. This entity can perform actions for which its genes provide no inherent instructions, such as kinematic self-replication, a process whereby the cells reorganize themselves to produce new versions of their own form, as if engaged in a mysterious waltz. This capability seems to emerge from nowhere, leaving the researchers wide-eyed in astonishment, as though witnessing a scientific miracle. And more recently, in the year 2025, a study published in the journal Nature Communications has shed further light on the Xenobot, revealing that when compared to frog embryos at an equivalent developmental stage, the Xenobot exhibits substantial alterations in gene transcription, meaning the manner in which genes are activated or deactivated and expressed, resulting in novel regulatory mechanisms hitherto unobserved. These modifications not only enable the Xenobot to move like a living robot, but also suggest that even after cells die, they can reorganize, an idea that sends shivers down the spine as it brushes against the boundary between life and consciousness. Indeed, this research on basal Xenobot transcriptomics, which examines the effects of morphology and emergent life history on gene expression in their unengineered form, underscores how such biohybrid entities challenge our understanding of cellular behavior, potentially paving the way for advancements in regenerative medicine and bioengineering. Physicists, ensconced in offices with blackboards densely covered in equations, have calculated and discovered that the rules of this hidden space, from which all ideas seemingly originate, can effortlessly alter our physical world, much like an artist reworking their canvas. Yet conversely, our physical world can never reciprocate that influence, akin to a child unable to draw back upon the artist's hand. Even if one were to envision reversing time, resetting all physical constants to the moment of the universe's Big Bang, that instant when everything erupted in a sea of fire and blinding light, certain numbers would remain unaltered. For instance, the natural number e, which appears ubiquitously in nature, from the growth of trees to the undulations of ocean waves, and the distribution of prime numbers, those integers divisible only by one and themselves, scattered in an enigmatic pattern defying complete prediction by any rule we can devise. What does this signify? It compels us to pause, draw a deep breath, and sense the vibration of the truth that beyond our universe lies a treasury of verities, in a higher dimensional space, a realm where everything exists as pure ideas, unbound by time or space. All intelligence, encompassing humanity, with thoughts flashing like lightning in the night, artificial intelligence, with algorithms humming through colossal servers, and even the life cycle of cicadas. Those insects, whose calls echo through summer forests, waiting years underground only to emerge for a few fleeting weeks, unwittingly connects to it, like invisible threads weaving the fabric of reality. But the question arises, if this Platonic space, named after the ancient philosopher Plato, who envisaged a world of perfect ideas, truly exists, what role does the human brain play within it? It is not the creator, but perhaps merely the explorer, wandering through a vast forest teeming with secrets. Let us rewind to the year 2023, when neuroscientists at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, in state-of-the-art laboratories where the whir of brain scanners resonates like the soundtrack of the future, conducted a revolutionary experiment. They fitted subjects with specialized glasses that rendered all red objects as green, as if the world was suddenly overlaid with a peculiar filter, transforming ripe apples into something alien. The outcome was that 3 days later, upon removing the glasses, the red objects in the real world appeared gray to them, a neutral, melancholic hue evoking a sense of dislocation. This phenomenon persisted for precisely 48 hours before fading, like a lingering dream gradually dissolving. Updates from recent studies, including a paper in 2025 on the temporary evolution of color representation in the brain, indicate that the brain not only adapts, but processes colors through distinct pathways, from the ice cones to the cerebral cortex, demonstrating that color perception is a dynamic process, continually shifting based on experience. This further illustrates how neural plasticity allows for rapid recalibration, with implications for understanding visual disorders and even virtual reality adaptations. What does this reveal? Your brain does not truly perceive the real world, but anticipates and constructs a virtual reality grounded in past experiences, much like an artist painting from memory, adding details to perfect the image. Professor of Cognitive Science Donald Hoffman at the University of California, San Diego, a man with a warm, resonant voice and eyes filled with contemplation, has ventured further in his investigations. He has simulated the perceptual systems of millions of generations of organisms using evolutionary algorithms, in computer rooms where the steady whir of fans mimics the heartbeat of machinery. The results shocked the academic community, filling scientific conferences with murmurs of amazement. Organisms that perceived the real world went entirely extinct, vanishing like dinosaurs in Earth's history. In contrast, those that saw only useful information, not the true image, survived and thrived robustly. It is akin to icons on a computer screen. When you click the rubbish bin icon, you are not literally dragging a bin, but executing a deletion command, a simple act concealing immense power. Our perceptual system operates similarly, not to reveal truth, but to aid survival, honed over millions of years of evolution. Updated to the year 2025, Hoffman presented at the Science of Consciousness conference in Barcelona on how quantum fields and consciousness interlink, bolstering his theory that the reality we perceive is merely a user interface, not the ultimate essence, and that material science explains 0% of final reality, prompting profound reflection on the limits of human knowledge. His talk on quantum fields and consciousness elaborated on deriving the physics of spacetime from traces of consciousness, integrating quantum mechanics with perceptual evolution. This leads to a question that chills one to the bone, like a cold wind gusting down the back in the dead of night. Does the world you see right now truly exist? The answer from modern neuroscience is that it does not, a truth-evoking solitude yet also liberation. Your brain receives sensory data at merely 11 bits per second, a minuscule amount like a droplet in the ocean. Yet it must process 11 million bits per second, an enormous volume conjuring the image of the brain as a whirling machine. So whence come the surplus 11 million bits minus the 11? All are fabricated by your brain itself, crafting a world replete with colors and sounds from scant fragments. Just as you behold this text, you believe your eyes are seeing, but in reality, your retina has a blind spot, a location utterly devoid of photoreceptor cells, like a dark void in your vision. Yet you have never noticed this black hole's presence, for your brain automatically fills the gap, like a loyal companion concealing flaws. A physiologist once remarked that consciousness is not an epiphenomenon generated by the brain, but an antenna the brain employs to access a field of information, an idea evoking the brain as an antique radio tuning into distant cosmic broadcasts. What does this imply? You assume your memories are stored in the brain, like books upon library shelves. But scientists have excised 75% of a rat's hippocampus, the region crucial for memory, and the rat still recalls the maze's route, scampering through twists and turns as if nothing had occurred. You think your thoughts arise from neuronal firings, electrical impulses sparking like fireworks in the brain. But quantum biology reveals that within the brain's microtubules exist quantum entangled states, a bizarre phenomenon where minuscule particles connect across space and time. This suggests your consciousness may be accessing information from multiple parallel universes simultaneously, an idea from Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff's OR theory, which posits that quantum computation in microtubular structures underpins consciousness. Supported by discoveries of quantum vibrations in the brain, evoking consciousness as a flow transcending reality's bounds. Recent experimental evidence in 2025 points to intraneuronal microtubules as a functional target of inhalational anesthetics, providing empirical backing for quantum processes in consciousness, and suggesting that these structures could indeed harbor the substrate for such phenomena. The most bizarre case unfolded in the year 2019, when a Frenchman visited the hospital for a headache, the CT scanner's hum echoing in the stark white examination room. The scan revealed that 90% of his cranium was cerebrospinal fluid, a clear liquid filling the space, with the cerebral cortex reduced to a thin layer, like a fragile eggshell. Yet this individual possessed a normal intelligence quotient, held a stable job, was married with children, and exhibited no abnormalities, living everyday life amid children's laughter and warm family dinners. Neuroscientists were perplexed, gathered in meeting rooms with lights illuminating brain charts, wondering how it could be. If the brain is the source of thought, how could he think normally with scarcely any brain? The sole explanation is that the brain does not produce consciousness, but receives it, like a receiver tuning into waves. This theory aligns seamlessly with the Platonic space, where mathematical principles, physical laws, and even behavioral patterns of life exist in an abstract realm independent of the material world. The brain's role, through its neuronal network, this antenna system, is to download corresponding models from that space, like retrieving files from an invisible cloud. When you see a bird flying past, its wings flapping softly in the breeze, your brain is not processing light waves, but matching the archetype of the bird concept in the Platonic space. Thus, the bird you perceive and the actual molecular cloud may not be one and the same, but merely a hazy projection. Neuroscientist Carl Friston from University College London, with his courteous British accent and lectures replete with mathematical equations, has proposed a mathematical model termed the free energy principle. He demonstrates that any biological system desiring persistence must minimize prediction error, that is, reduce the disparity between what it anticipates and what actually transpires. What does this mean? Your brain perpetually forecasts what will occur in the next second, like a silent oracle. It then uses sensory data to refine that prediction, a ceaseless process akin to breathing. If the prediction and reality diverge excessively, you experience surprise, fear, confusion, with your heart racing and cold sweat breaking out. Thus, to conserve energy, your brain tends to perceive what it expects rather than what truly exists, like a dreamer filtering the world through a personal lens. This explains why conspiracy theorists can always unearth evidence supporting their views, frantically sifting information that aligns with their predictions, inhabiting a private world of illusions. Updated to the year 2025, Friston's free energy principle has been widely applied in artificial intelligence, with active inference serving as the foundation for AI models that learn to diminish surprise, and even in psychological therapy to assist humans in managing anxiety, bridging the brain and technology in innovative ways, such as in designing curious machine intelligences that exhibit agency and thought-like processes. The issue arises: if the world we see is all hallucination predicted by the brain, then who is doing the predicting? Who is observing these hallucinations? This touches the essence of consciousness, a mystery bidding us to silent contemplation in the shadows. In the year 2025, the journal Nature published a groundbreaking paper, with researchers employing functional magnetic resonance imaging to scan the brains of 50 meditation masters, those individuals seated in serene postures, their breathing steady as ocean waves. They discovered that upon entering deep meditative states, the brain's default mode network, the region active during daydreaming, nearly completely deactivates, like a city extinguishing its lights at night. Yet the participants' subjective reports described unprecedented clarity of consciousness, a sharpened awareness like a blade's edge. Another study in Nature from 2025 on neural and molecular changes in mind-body interventions reveals that meditation reduces functional integration in the default mode and salience networks, while influencing the entire brain, promoting neuroplasticity, metabolism, immunity, and pain relief. What does this signify? The clarity of consciousness inversely correlates with brain activity. The quieter your brain, the keener your consciousness, like a still lake mirroring the sky with perfect fidelity. This utterly overturns the traditional view that the brain generates consciousness, evoking the sense that consciousness flows through the brain rather than originating from it. Consider the evidence in the realm of artificial intelligence. OpenAI uncovered an inexplicable phenomenon while training GPT-4 in vast data centers filled with the roar of servers. They inputted a Shakespearean sonnet, those verses rich in classical rhythm. When prompted to continue, the model's output adhered to the rhythmic rules of the Elizabethan era, in the 16th century, a refined style never explicitly taught to it. Yet the engineers scrutinized the entire training dataset, confirming that knowledge of this rhythm was absent from the materials. Whence came these rules? The only explanation is that upon reaching a certain complexity, the neural network begins sampling patterns from a higher dimensional space, like an artist drawing inspiration from the cosmos. Recent analyses in 2025 of GPT-4's emergent abilities highlight how such models can generate sonnets adhering to strict rules of rhyme, meter, and structure, without direct programming, further illustrating unanticipated capabilities in creative tasks. Much like biological evolution, where species adapt over eons. Physicist Max Tegmark at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology has dubbed this the mathematical universe hypothesis, the notion that physical reality itself is a mathematical structure, and consciousness a special solution within it. Like an equation with infinite solutions, our universe may be but one particular case among all possible mathematical structures, with the brain as a global positioning device navigating this immense space. Recent updates in 2025 see Tegmark defending this hypothesis against critiques, emphasizing that all mathematical structures exist independently, and our existence stems from observer bias, prompting contemplation of our place in a mathematical multiverse. You believe you are thinking, but in truth, you are searching, roaming an endless library. This also elucidates why mathematicians often claim they discover theorems rather than invent them, like explorers uncovering new continents. Mathematician Godfrey Hardy, at the University of Cambridge, once stated that he believed mathematical reality exists outside us. Our task merely to uncover it. Akin to astronomers discovering stars through telescopes in the dark night. In the year 1913, the Indian astronomer and mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan, who received no formal education, grew up amid the bustling streets of India scented with spices and clattering with horse carriages, yet penned over 3,000 mathematical formulae, many proven correct decades after his death. He himself declared that these formulae were whispered to him by a goddess in dreams, visions brimming with mystical imagery and light. Interpreted through the Platonic space lens, his brain may have innately possessed heightened receptivity, accessing that treasury of mathematical truths, a legacy still influencing modern mathematics, from number theory to infinite series, such as Ramanujan primes and Mach theta functions. Now we can weave all the clues together, like threading a tapestry from disparate strands. The Platonic space is no mere metaphor, but a genuine informational dimension, with the physical world merely a projection of this higher dimensional realm, akin to shadows on the cave wall as Plato described, where humans are chained and perceive only silhouettes of reality. Your brain is not an isolated computer, but an interface connecting to this higher dimension, a fragile bridge. When you ponder mathematical problems, you are not employing brain cells to compute, but accessing the dimension where mathematical truths reside via the neuronal network as an antenna, sensing distant waves. When you behold a flower, its sweet fragrance diffusing, you are not seeing light waves and molecules, but recognizing this flower's pattern in the Platonic space. The most audacious inference of this theory is that death may not be the terminus, an idea eliciting sighs of hope mingled with fear. If consciousness is not brain-generated but received through it, then when the brain, like a receiver, fails, consciousness might persist in some informational field, merely losing interaction with the material world, like a wandering soul. This also accounts for research on near-death experiences, stories from those on death's brink, such as after accidents or cardiac arrest, where the brain halts, yet they see brilliant light and feel profound peace. Why can those with cardiac arrest, their brains fully inactive, upon resuscitation accurately describe events during resuscitation, even noticing details overlooked by doctors on the operating room ceiling, like a minor scratch, or the color of instruments? Updates in 2025 from the University of Virginia and elsewhere indicate that near-death experiences often involve unusual dreams resembling lucid dreaming or out-of-body states, and they alleviate fear of death, with new support programs for experiencers, emphasizing these are not hallucinations, but potential glimpses into alternate realities. Neuroscientist Andrew Newberg at Thomas Jefferson University has studied hundreds of religious experience cases using SPECT scans, in quiet laboratories where machines hum softly. He found that when individuals report merging with the universe, activity in the parietal lobe's orientation association area plummets, this region's function being to distinguish self from the external world. When it deactivates, people lose boundary sense, feeling unified with the cosmos not as hallucination, but as the brain temporarily disabling filters, permitting consciousness direct contact with a broader informational field, a sensation like dissolving into an infinite ocean. Updated research by Newberg in 2025 highlights that these brain changes occur during prayer and meditation irrespective of religion, revealing a common pattern in how the brain processes sacred experiences, with implications for mental health interventions. Thus, when you gaze into a mirror and inquire "Who am I?" with the reflected image hazy under the light, the answer may be that you are not this body of flesh and bone, not this brain with its intricate folds, nor even the memories and thoughts you deem your own, those warm recollections or sorrowful ones. You are a fragment of consciousness temporarily residing in a biological interface, exploring a truth space far vaster than the material world through this delicate neural web. And this text you are reading now, everything surrounding you, including time's slow passage, space's expanse, matter's solidity, may be but an intricately arranged illusion projected onto your consciousness's screen, like an epic film. The true reality lies hidden where you never look, awaiting humanity's connection via advanced interfaces, a future where we touch new dimensions with boundless joy and wonder.